What's up, good people? It's your boy Hoom Boom from the Hold Up Show. And it's another beautiful day out here at the park. That's right. It's about almost 80-ish. Everybody's out running. All the Beckies are embracing their booties and got their tights out. Some trying to cover up the extra big ones. I'm just enjoying the view, you feel me? Just give you a little bit. Yeah, very nice day out here, you dig? So, feeling good today. Just wanted to bust it up with y'all, I guess, you know what I mean? But I've been thinking about some things, seeing as though I got some time on my hands. So people be asking me like, why are you at the park? How long you gonna be at the park? What are you doing? What's the next steps? And I look at it like, I feel free. I feel amazingly free. I feel so good. I haven't felt this good in so long. I mean, so long. It's like I have zero burdens on my chest. I have zero burdens on my mind. But I ain't been getting much sleep. My grandma keeps coming to me. It's been about 6 or 7 days now that her specifically has just been coming to my dreams and just trying to tell me something, and I can't decipher it, right? I'm listening, but I can't decipher it, right? So, yesterday I took me a stroll in the grassy part, took the shoes off, was out there grounding, walking barefoot, sitting, meditating, playing, 432 hertz relaxation type of instrumentals, sun gazing, just, asking God for forgiveness for any sins I may have committed knowingly and unknowingly, and, just looking for more clarity, more inner peace, because my world has always been peaceful. It's just somebody's over there getting their lawn, getting the leaves blown off their lawn, making all this noise. But it's just like a calmness on the inside that I haven't felt in a very long time. It was like always something that had me on high alert, you know what I mean? And it kind of brought me back into that whole thing, like, yes, I am not the holiest person, and I am not the most religious person, and it does make me question, why did he show me the things that he showed me? Why did he intervene when he did intervene, and pulled me out of that situation, you know what I'm saying? And I just came to a realization that, yes, God is always watching. He is always with you. Not, if it's not him specifically, it is your angels, your ancestors, something, right? And they know what you're doing. They know what you're thinking. They know the vibrational intentions you give off for a person. Just like you're able to recognize vibrations and vibes and stuff when you walk in a room. Whether it's good vibes in a room or it's bad vibes in a room for you, right? And I just want to stress the message of it costs you nothing to be a good person. It costs you nothing to be nice. Like, just be nice, right? Polite, courteous, whatever adjective you need that you need to associate with just being a nice, genuine person, right? And I think back, like, growing up in the environment that I grew up in, you know, the motto or mentality is like, be predator or be prey, right? Which basically means rob or get robbed. You know what I'm saying? Do the savage shit against people or get the savage shit done to you, right? And you know, I was always wondering, like, man, why did it feel like my road was so hard, right? Well, when I was out here just trying to give off good vibes, good intentions, just cost me nothing to be nice to people, right? No matter who it was. I don't, you know, I never was one of those people that somebody told me something about somebody and it made me be some type of way towards that person. You know, I always wanted to do my own evaluations of a person. Like, I you know, I let them have the opportunity to either live up to, I don't want to say reputation, but their reputation amongst other people, right? And I'll give you a prime example. I was working in this corporate office, right? And, you know, I was new on the scene and I was meeting who I was meeting and, you know, this, that, and the third. And I would get little warnings from certain individuals about certain other individuals, about how I'm approaching or tread lightly, all that type of stuff, right? They're mean or they're not the most the easiest person to work with type of deal, right? You know, that it didn't bother me. Like, I listened, I took it with a grain of salt, but I didn't like completely internalize it against the person, right? And it seemed that everybody that people said that I would have a problem with were actually some of my better relationships on the job. And it just seems as though, right, the people that I should have been looking out for are some of the people that were trying to tell me about other people, right? Because eventually, after a while, they couldn't hide their ways, right? And again, didn't hold it against them, but I acknowledged it. I put it in my mental Rolodex, and I know that's how you coming, or that's how you giving it up, or you're straight and narrow about everything, but this or that you'll turn super petty about, right? And for different people, it was for different things, right? And that's what I mean, like, out here in the world. Like, everybody has an opportunity for redemption. Everybody has an opportunity to change. And everybody should be afforded and given that opportunity for all of those things, right? And I say that to say this. Here's another example. Say you were in your teens, you know, mid or late teens or whatever, right? You know, when you, I guess I'm going to say when you first started to become sexually active and all that, right? So for boys, you know, they were naturally going for the girls that they know or they heard were in the game, right? They were a little more faster, a little more advanced than others, right? And it's like, you might have liked this good girl, you might have seen potential wifey material, or not even seen potential, you might have just smelt that the pussy was good on her. Like, you know, just like, man, I know that pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I know that shit is good, right? I know it's untouched, or I know it's something, right? You know what I mean? But you knew that you was going to have to put in some work, or it had to have been a great opportunity to be able to get them an opportunity where you even have a chance to score or get to a certain base, right? And then you had the other Jones that was just letting people, you know, she liked you, she let you get at it, and that'd be that, right? And it was like, you know, she got a reputation for being fast or whatever. But then she got to a certain point in her life. She matured, because girls normally mature faster than guys. She matured and she started to pick up on the vibes of men and how they were treating her because of her being promiscuous or being loose. That she went through a change and she transformed herself. She became a better person. She decided to dig more into her morals and integrities and reestablish those values about her, right? Because maybe she understood the importance and the sacredcy, if that's how you pronounce it, the sacredcy of her box, right? And she no longer wanted to pollute it, or she was ready to preserve it, rebirth it, whatever, right? And a person might have moved away or went to another neighborhood or whatever the case may be, right? And then you see them again in your early 20s, mid 20s or whatever, right? And you could just be saying hello. You could just be, yeah, what's up? I mean, blah, blah, blah. And to her, she just smelled all that same energy on you that you had when you was looking to tap her guts, right? And she just does not like you. Like, she just giving you the meanest or whatever, you know. And you're trying to understand, like damn, you know, damn, bitch. Fuck, you know what I mean? I ain't do nothing to you. Like, you know what I mean? Don't be trying to flex on me. Like, you acting brand new now. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, don't act like you ain't gargling it, or, you know, you get in a defensive mode, even though you might not have been on it like that, right? You might have just genuinely just been I didn't see you in a while. How you doing? How's it been? You got kids now? You married? You got, you finished school. You in college? You working this? Like, it could have just genuinely been that, but she seen you, and you remind her of a person that she killed, right? A side of her that's old. She shed that skin. She's in her butterfly mode, right? She bust out the cocoon. She's new. Whoever you thought you know then, you have to get reintroduced now. But maybe just the sight of you is too much pain or too much bad memories that she doesn't even want to reintroduce herself to you. She just wants to leave you where you was at, which was in her past, right? And I ran across that a lot with, like, I know this is going to sound mean, but I ran across that a lot with a lot of 4, 5s, and 6s that were throwing it because they recognized that they were a 4, a 5, and a 6 at that age. But now they went somewhere, got some self-awareness, some self-confidence, some self-respect, some Fenty or L'Oreal makeup, a new weave, and got somebody respecting them on a different level than you ever did, all right? That if you was just to say hello, they would snap on you. Oh, what you think, you hitting me up because you trying to hit the grown me now, and ain't that type of party, and blah, blah, blah. But it'd be like, whoa, sis, you're still a 4, 5, and a 6 with makeup on. Like, a wet wash rag is your worst enemy. Like, chill out. You know what I mean? Just chill out, right? But it's the pain or just the thought of that old her that is represented in you that she doesn't want to revisit, and she does not look to have another or is not looking to rekindle or reintroduce herself to you, the new her, right? Because she doesn't even know if you changed or if you still even on that type of time and all that type of stuff. Like of course, if she offered it, you got the choice to whether you want to take it or not. But you yourself might have changed and just might have been not on a time. But she didn't even give you the opportunity to show whether you changed or if you're just on the same type of time or not. You're already dead to her because you're part of that old her, right? So that's why when you see like certain females and you ask them about their past and they're not very transparent about it, it's because they don't want to tell you about all the whole shit they did in their younger days, because they look at that like I shed, killed, and buried whoever that was gargling on all those dicks back then. I don't want you to look at me differently, right? The point I'm trying to make is it costs you nothing to be nice, regardless of what a person is then or is now, right? So now that I totally embraced this faith, totally out here just feeling free, feeling like just feeling like I took the hanger out my shirt because I don't have to watch everything I say or watch everything I do because someone else's insecurities might get triggered from me just being me, right? And that's, whether it was people in my so-called crew or whether it was either females that I were dealing with, it didn't matter, right? It just always felt like I was holding on to something not to take away from someone else or trigger someone else, right? And it's like rediscovering this particular freedom, or this particular not giving a fuckness, has just opened up such a freeness in my heart, right? And it's like, being as though I just recently went through something, these individuals, it just feels like they're so worried about me publicly exposing them in detail about what they were up to show you why God actually saved me from them, right? And when I say saved, I mean God actually saved them to save me. Take it however you want, right? But I am in such a different place that I don't care to expose these individuals to the degree that they should be exposed. So you know the level of disrespect that I was dealing with, right? Because at this point, it doesn't matter. Like, you freed me. Y'all motherfuckers freed me, and I feel amazing. I wish I was freed years ago, right? That's just what I'm feeling, right? Because of this urge to wanna put everyone on the same playing field as me, or you know, wanting everyone to feel like that Mayweather effect. Like, of course you're not Mayweather, but when you're around Mayweather, you're going to live, act, do, and feel like Mayweather to a degree, right? Because he's bringing you into his world, and he's going to treat you the same as he would treat himself in his world. That's how I was carrying it, right? I was carrying it to like that till it became a detriment to me without me realizing it, until I was already too far into the detrimental behavior. So I also realized all of this in my ascension, awakening, realization, rediscover self-awareness, however you want to chop it up, right? And it's like, now I just no longer care to put people on the same pedestal or playing field as myself. It'll just, you know, and I don't want that to sound arrogant or cocky. I just want it to sound like I'm putting me first and not caring about you emotionally with your unresolved traumas or unresolved insecurities, right? And then it came to another realization that even with you projecting and just genuinely being nice, being caring, being a good person to people, that there are just other ulterior motives with people. You just never know what type of time they're on. And I just came to feel as though, like, man, this whole time I was in a competition that I didn't know that I was in. niggas was competing against me, even when in my mind I don't have shit, right? But shoe on the other foot to them, they might think you got everything, or they might think your road is a lot easier than theirs. When the reality is, we all have our own decisions to make. So you just got to be aware of these type of things. I think even more now, with you being a nice person, projecting your good intentions on people, and they might not necessarily project them back onto you. So, I'm just walking and just getting clarity and just thinking back on so many scenarios and so many situations of just my life, and like, wow, I can't believe I made it through so many situation things or whatever that may have happened, with either being something happening in the street, something happening with relationships, something happening at workplaces, or just lifing, bills overrunning, warrants for dumb stuff. You can't drive, you can't this, you can't walk around with your ID because you got warrants, and all that type of shit, right? All that eventually seeps into who you are as a person and can put that burden on you. And man, I feel so good not to have any of that shit anymore. Like, so good. Like, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you to them ancestors. Thank you to the divine order. Thank you to all that, right? So now that I feel as though one of my gifts is talking, or being able to articulate myself in a way that I can get people that don't walk my path or don't even agree with my positions to at least see and understand my decisions and how I carried it. And that's what I want to do with my faith. I every day am thinking and asking God how to best articulate what He has done for me without knowingly knowing that He was doing it for me, until I had to be told, right? Because it's time for people to understand you can be free too. You can be free too. You will be all right. You have to rewire your mindset, your perspective. You will be all right. Whatever people want to call this, the situation, the circumstance, the predicament that I am in at this current moment, I don't look at it that way. I feel wealthy. I am healthy. I am at peace. I am free, right? Plain as it can get, right? I want others to have that freedom too. I want others to release that burden, whatever that burden may be, because everyone's burden is different. You might not have the burdens that I had of worrying about triggering other people's insecurities or feelings or whatever, right? Because God made me this way. I shouldn't have to apologize that God made me this way. That God made me in a manner that I get attention just for being me. Or just for being quirky, different, a different angle, however you want to chop it up. So say for like instance, right? I would be with this old crew and we just fucking around in the projects, just doing shit, whatever. And somebody will say, let's go to White Boy Fairview and steal bikes and beat up people. Just beat up random people walking down the street, right? Mind you, at the time, I'm in my head like, that's fucking stupid. Why do I want to just go steal bikes and beat up people? Till I see the motherfuckers come back with a fly-ass BMX or dyno with the stomp pads and all that. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, damn, I should have went, right? But at my core, I'm like, that sounds fucking stupid. Why do I want to just go beat up? Why do I want to go with a gang of other people just to randomly beat up on one person or randomly look to intimidate somebody out of their bike or go in someone's yard or on their property and steal their property or vandalize or any of that dumb shit? But me being me, especially being the different one, or Mr. Light Skin, you're acting light skin, I would agree to go sometimes. And I would agree to go. I would even feel like I have to initiate some of the shit just to prove a point, right? But then when I got to the realization that when some of those ideas started coming up, or some of those people that came around that would have these ideas, or that's just what they was into, nah, I'm good. I get up with y'all. And then I started to get ostracized. I started to be alienated. I started to be called soft or not down for the hood or whatever the case may be, right? And it's like, no, I got fucking common sense and intelligence to know that no good is going to come from that, whether it be at this very moment from either cops, you know, chasing us, locking us up, getting a charge, or karma-wise, that maybe I get older and it be my son's bike that gets stolen, or my son who gets jumped for no reason just for walking down the street. That was my thoughts, right? So when these certain individuals will come around and just be like, nah, I'm good. When really I wanted to tell them, nah, you're fucking stupid and I know where you're heading. Jail or dead, right? But maybe at the time, I wasn't all the way confident enough to just be coming like that. But I was coming like that in so many words. Like, my mouth was always slick. It just wasn't always aggressively sick. I wouldn't say it was passive aggressive, but it was just you knew where I stood. You knew where I stood on my shit, right? So during that period of being alienated, I was just like, man, you know, I'm not part of the clique, you know. And other individuals that would just be regular or whatever, I didn't all the way necessarily vibe with some of the things that they were into. Like, you know, I didn't play Pokemon and Final Fantasy and comic books, or, you know, it was like, yeah, it's interesting, I could check it out, but no. Like, no, I'm not into that, right? So it was almost like I never really found my tribe. I just kind of gravitated towards the best of the rest, and then when they got on their bullshit, I would just get up with them another time, not knowing that eventually that would be a detriment to me still playing in the dirt, sort of say, right? So it still brought me to that burning question, like, why did he save me? Why did he intervene? Why? You know, because I got a cousin that's recently went to jail, that was a part of this quote unquote crew, which basically at his core he's a piece of shit too, full of jealousy and envy himself, and secretly in competition, all that shit, right? But he would continue to make horrible decisions. And I feel like his decisions finally got the best of him. So whereas though I finally came across a situation where I could have been put in that same predicament, and I, by the grace of God, made a different decision. I decided not to go a certain route. I decided to handle things in a different manner. So I believe God intervened because he knew my heart, and I displayed throughout my life in hardships actions that showed my good heart, even in the worst of situations. Even when the environment I came from would have handled things differently. And that's just at all different stages of my life, right? Just all different stages. Like, put it for instance, I was probably the first in my crew to go to some form of jail. I was in a group home, whatever. But I knew by the time that I got 18, 17, 18 that jail is not the move. We thought that that's where you had to go to prove yourself, make it out of there unscathed or respected to be considered a man. Which was totally fucking stupid. Totally wrong. Totally shows that there were no real male guidances around to say, hey, that's fucking stupid, right? But he's seen the decisions I made, and he's seen how I was carrying it, that even though no matter what the horrible situation was, I always sort of kind of did the right thing. When I could have wilded out and been justified for it on a street level and maybe on a quote unquote moral level. But I knew on the other hand of handling it however I was going to handle it, what consequences that comes with, whatever those consequences was. Because those consequences wasn't always jail or death. They were just consequences. So the consequence, circumstance, and predicament that I am in now was one that I was running from when I noticed that certain environments I was in were always going to be those environments, right? So say like I was staying with a distant cousin. I knew I would never get, I'm a person, I need my alone time. I need to just be alone sometimes. I'm the only child. I think I was just used to being alone. So when I got to mingling with people, that I still yearned for that alone time because I just enjoyed it. But I knew, being in this crib, that I most likely probably wasn't going to get that unless I barked on somebody or wilded out to the point where they would let others know, nah, leave him alone right now. He want to be left alone. Just, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't the person known to just snap out. I was always the happy person, smiling, whatever, down for whatever, that type. But I knew in this house that it would never be empty. There would always be someone up. The door would always be revolving with motherfuckers in the front door, back door, whatever, right? So as far as I can remember, I would always invest my money into nice shit. Designer shit, whatever shit. I had a bad mentality that if the higher the cost, the better it is. Which wasn't always the case, right? You seen some of these motherfuckers wear some of these ugly ass outfits and be like, yo, this is so-and-so. And they'd be like, so? That shit's ugly as hell. Like, why are you wearing that? Or why, But me, I would have fly shit. I would invest in, fly shit. And my one distant cousin that lived in this house, always in and out of jail, a dope head, right? Heron. He's a thief, but he's also a killer. He's a thief and a killer, right? And it would be like, any little time my back was turned, or I would pop up, this motherfucker would be in my, I can't necessarily call it my space, but in my little, he would be in the vicinity of my little corner. But he's like off to, it's in the same room, but he's like off in another corner, like he's going through his stuff, looking for something, whatever. But really, he's looking for an opportunity to steal some of my good shit to go sell it for some dope. And he did get me sometimes, but it would be like I wasn't around. I couldn't prove it was him. And he's a killer, so I would have to be ready to go all the way there, right? So it was like, I'm under siege here. I'm not going to feel, because now it's like, what do I got to carry all my shit in a bag with me everywhere I go just so I know it's safe? I can't put a lock on the door because it's not my house, and it's other motherfuckers stuff in this room as well. You know what I mean? It is like a spot where, like, if a motherfucker fell asleep in there first, they're in there, right? Especially if they in there with some hood rat or whatever. They're like, damn, they got the bam. You know what I mean? I gotta find somewhere else, like, like that type of shit, right? And it was just like a bunch of those scenarios, no matter how hard I tried throughout my life. And it was like the one time that I was in a space completely my own, holding it down. I had a family. I had a girl, I had 2 kids. So it really wasn't the freedom I desired, because I already made a kid or family before I got the desired freedom that I was looking for, which is another example of no true male guidance, right? Because they would have definitely told me that's not the way to handle things. And even that didn't last long, because when you play in the dirt comes to your house sometimes, right? Like, for instance, I'm home, I was off that day, chilling. I'm probably up in my room, high, laying in the bed, probably like 11:30. All of a sudden, this frantic knocking on my door. Boom, 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 boom. Yo, boom, boom. I'm like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is on my door, right? You know what I mean? So I go and I open the door, and it's my poppy bull, right? He like, yo, let me in, and I'm like, let you in? Like, yo, nigga, you know what time it is? Like, what's up? Like, nah, just let me in real quick, please, right? So I let the nigga in, close the door. He like, shut the light off, all this type of shit, right? Because I don't know if Shorty know where you live. And I'm like, Shorty know what the fuck are you talking about, right? So come to find out, he was living around the corner in the same apartment complex with some chick, and he just beat her up, right? It's not funny, but it's like, bro, you bringing this shit to my house? Like, why didn't you run to your mama's house, right? Because it was like, the cops on your ass that fast? Like, did you just throw the last punch and they were already outside? Like, what was, So he, he's all frantic. He's like, got into it with my girl. Got into it with my girl means I beat her up. And that's why I'm running to your house looking for cover until I could, go somewhere else safely. And so I let him in, like, damn, you still doing this? You still beating him? Like, it's still get. But I was like, I couldn't really, because it's like, people get into shit, right? You're in a relationship, you get into shit, right? It's how you handle it, the decisions you make. And I guess the decisions that some of these guys make is to, especially if you can't articulate yourself, or if you're getting frustrated because she can't articulate herself, they just beat them up. Like, you understand this ass whooping, right? It doesn't solve anything. They're still ain't able to articulate. You'll still be frustrated again when the situation comes up again, and it'll just be another cycle, right? So we see the police. They come, they fucking with a whole nother Spanish guy, drunk, passed out in the grass, like 2 apartments down, and you know, I'm like, damn, you must have really fucked her up, because they looking for your ass, you know. And the girl came running, that ain't him, da da da, all that type of shit. So, like, where he at? He around here somewhere, blah blah blah, right? Whole time, little chick knew where I lived. She just didn't bring him to my house, right? Because then now you're involving, like, he already involved me, but now you're making my house a target, coming to my house. And thank goodness she had the courtesy not to do that. But she did come back. Maybe, I think she came the next day and was like, yeah, I knew he was over here, blah, blah, blah. I want to disrespect your house because I know you had it, but I know that's your boy and he was over here, but he dissed that and the third to me again. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Why are you here? Why are you here? Just because you knew he was here to tell me that? You know. And it was like that type of shit, right? Eventually will cause a detriment to your peace, your freedom, you know. So, you know, you had to set those boundaries. Like, yo, don't come to my house with that bullshit, dog. I ain't on it. You know what I mean? This is my family here. I'm handling business. I'm on grown man time, dog. You know what I mean? I'm like 23 at the time, playing that TV dad, you know. But I was on business. You know what I mean? So, back to the original question, like, why am I in the park and all this? Because I'm not going to another hostage situation. I'm not looking to rizz up some girl just to move in her crib and make a relationship out of a circumstantial need. Like, that's toxic. It's not help. That's a hobosexual, homeless sexual, whatever they fucking call that shit, right? You know what I'm trying to say. And it's like, no. I just left this bad situation. I am not going to go create another toxic situation. I will thug it out till my spot is my spot. Like, even though I was in a situation that was very serious and I wanted to take it to the next level, but we just kept bumping heads doing stupid shit or whatever. There's over stupid shit. It wasn't even really over. Well, at the time, I didn't think it was over serious shit, but it was other underlying things, me, other girls, that were really causing the issues. But she always wondered why I never talked in a manner of us getting a place, right? Like, she had a place, sort of, kind of, but it wasn't our place. Like, we picked it, we on the lease, we making it happen, we picked the front of it, we created the vibe and environment, right? Wasn't that, right? And she didn't ask during the relationship, but she asked after, you know, like, yeah, I could tell you was on this, that, and the third, because you would never talk la 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 about us moving together or getting a place together. And I had to let her know, like, it's because in the last 20 years I ain't been free. I wanted at least an opportunity for 6 months to a year or something just to be free. Just to walk in the house. Damn, fucking bee. Just walk in the house, be butt ass naked, walk around, just do me. Fart when I want, don't gotta say excuse, you know, just shit. You know what I mean? And for the life of her, she just could not understand that. Like, that just did not register to her. It was like, we together, we won, we this, we that. And it's like she just didn't understand. She might have comprehended, but I don't think she fully understood and embraced that. Like, yo, that's a trauma for me. Like, that's a trauma I'm trying to release. I need to feel free. Like, yes, I love you. Yes, we're in a good spot. Yes, we're progressing to things. And yes, I do see a future with you. But at this very time, when I say I'm looking for a spot, I'm looking for a spot for me. I'm looking for a spot that I picked out, I'm comfortable with. I created the feng shui in this motherfucker. And I'm inviting you into my feng shui. And then, if we still progressing through that, we'll create a feng shui together. And that just didn't sit well with her. And I understand. I completely understand her position. But I still needed to do that for me. I needed to do that for me. Because it was eating at my soul. So then, with this other recent situation that had just finally fully dissolved, that was always the thing. Like, at any moment, yes, I'm wilding out, I'm taking trips with other chicks, I'm doing the most. In a player sort of sense, right? I wasn't being abusive or none of, this, that, and third. It was just, I knew I didn't want the chick. Chick was cool. Of course, I liked her and loved her. But no growth, no transparency, no accountability. None of the core values that I wanted, right? But instead of me letting her go, I would just do me. And basically, like, say, fuck it, but deal with the consequences when they get there. So it was always that air of, I'm gonna be in my car, I'm gonna be on the street, or I'm gonna be whatever. Like, was this the trip that did it? Was this the spit night out that finally triggered it? And and it almost happened on a few occasions. But now I understand why it didn't happen, because, of course, motherfucker was doing her the whole time, right? So it was almost like she didn't want to, like, she was putting on a mask to, like, act like, motherfucker, you ain't gonna be doing this to me. But whole time, before I was even doing it, you was doing it. It was just that I wasn't investigating, right? So it was like, I don't want you to go. I love you too much. And it was like, now I know it was just some sort of codependency and familiarity. Oh, that said that all bad. Familiarity between us that she was comfortable with, that if she invited or brought in another, that on a full-time basis, so to say, and not just a sneaky link, that person might catch on to her shit and actually be abusive, be you know, whatever the qualities that she liked in me, she didn't want to take that chance with one of these other crack baby wild out niggas out here, right? So I just came to a realization, like, man, besides the viciousness and the level of disrespect that it got to with her, as I started to feel the change in me on a more spiritual level, which I didn't understand, which was a spiritual thing. I'm just thinking that I'm just changing, just maturing, just wanting different shit. That this person is never going to be nothing but the same person that I met when I met them. Like, even after all this time, like, you're exact same person, no growth, no change, no nothing, right? This is who you are. That I just got to a point where I said, fuck this. I'm out. And it's like I'm looking left, right, everywhere, and I could not get approved for an apartment because of the dumb shit, credit score, no rental history, all this type of shit, because I'm always been in somebody else's space under confinement to some sort, right? Except for the little 7 or 8 months that I had my own spot. That was actually solely in my name. I mean, my name and my baby mom at the time that was with me name. But I was the bread, you know, the sole provider of the house. So it's my shit, right? Yeah, I'm not interested in none of that. And it's not to say that, you know, I ain't have people offer, and I ain't have other friends, you know, other homies outside of my crew that I developed through my path of learning and growing and progressing, that didn't offer to say like, yo, you come stay with me, da 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 da. Nah. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to go back into no situation where I got to tiptoe around somebody else's environment and I just can't just be. So that's why I'm out here. Because I can just be. Ain't nobody fucking with me. Ain't no nothing of nothing. I could just be. So that's my message for today with this video. Find your freedom. Find where you can just be. Wherever the be is for you, find it. It will save your life. It will rejuvenate your soul. You will live longer. You will look younger. You will probably be healthier because your body internalizes all that shit, right? Like, think of the word disease, right? Really break down the word disease. Dis-ease. Something in your body is not at ease. That's it. So if you're creating a toxic environment around yourself, or you're living in a toxic environment around yourself, you're going to put your body in a state to faster be at dis-ease. I hope that makes sense. like, when you hear people like Dr. Sebi and other herbalists and nutritionalists, they talk about creating an environment in your body that the dis-ease can't survive in. They can't just be in, right? And thrive in, right? Because they don't have the elements they need to be and thrive in. And part of that is because of your own perceptional environment and your outer environment. First, your inner perception of the outer environment is the first step, and then actually changing your outer environment so that you're not in a state of dis-ease or could possibly put yourself at a dis-ease. Could be, or could live, or could come in, or could thrive, or could whatever. That's what it is. So I hope this was entertaining, informative. You learned something. It resonated. It pushed you forward. It gave you some sort of faith to trust in God and find your environment where you can just be and thrive. It's your boy Hoom Boom. It's another segment of the Hold Up Show. And hashtag He Saved Me.